Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks again for joining us. It's Thursday. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've had our lunch, and that means it's time to sit down and jibber jabber.
Argue, discuss.
Right. Agree, disagree, whatever. That's why it's called opposite Saxes.
You never know with this group.
But either way, we are brought to you today by our dear friend Christine Dean, who is the DFW networking diva. Now, what is a networking diva? She is someone who knows more about your website and your marketing plan than even you do. Trust me, she does, because that's why people reach out to her, is because they think they know everything and they don't. But a free consultation with Christine Dean could lead you into more profitability for your business. And if it's just, your personal website, fine. She has been producing this program for almost 2 years. We're going on 2 years pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And she's been producing this show as well as other shows for me. And I could not do it on my own. And I'm not too proud to say I can't do it on my own. I need help. So I reach out to somebody like Christine Dean. You can do the same thing. Get a free consultation and see if she can help you improve your marketing plans. She's a good kid.
She's awesome.
Yep, we love her.
Yep.
Hey.
Yes.
Reading directions.
Oh, well.
We just got a couple of new appliances, and that's the downside sometimes to ordering your stuff from a Wayfair or from Amazon. It arrives in a nice box on your doorstep. You don't have to go and schlep it into the car and bring it home, and they deliver it to you. But you open up the box and you take out the item, and you have to set it up. And there are some people.
What do you get?
Yeah.
You get all of these nice books.
Get the instruction.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what do most people do? I think they take it out of the box. They take the styrofoam packing and all of the wrappings and everything off of it. And they stick the plug in the wall and they hit the on button to see if it works.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Sometimes it's because there are a couple of steps that you have to do before you plug it in and do this or that to it. That's why they send instructions with things. And it's simple instructions too.
It is?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's the operative word.
Sometimes you need to enroll in the local college and take a course in order to know how to read the instructions in order to set up that appliance. Now, some of them, there was one book that you showed me. Oh yeah, here's one for a KitchenAid oven that we got. Now, this book is 36 pages. Okay. And you think, oh my God, I got to go through it. Well, no, it's really 6 pages in 6 languages. So first you got to find your language, and that's not so bad.
Very international.
But it always starts off with the precautions to take before you start. And the first words of almost all of them is, please read these instructions before using this appliance. I cannot echo that anymore, because I'm an instruction reader.
You are. You start with number 1 and work your way down.
I do. And
yeah, I never used to, but now I do.
And you should. Now sometimes, and I like.
Oh, that's
this.
A real good one.
This is a good one. Now this is to set up a TV. Okay, and what it is, it's with pictures and all, but this is called the easy setup. It also comes along with a book that explains all this. But if you follow the pictures and all, it pretty well gets you where
that one it does, but there have been others.
Yeah. Well, now I don't have anything against IKEA, but I will tell you that most of the instructions that come with items from IKEA have no words.
Well, they don't need to.
It's all pictures. It's all pictures, and it's either pegs, and it's little. It just shows this peg goes into this slot, and all, and then you go to the next picture. But there's no words, And the problem that I run into sometimes is if it comes with nuts and bolts, you're not exactly sure which nut and which bolt goes into which thing. You got to look at the pictures. Is the picture this long or is it this long?
Yeah, have we bought enough of IKEA to know that we have a lot of leftover nuts and bolts?
No, but it's maybe we don't buy that often from IKEA because the instructions are, and when you get all finished and you've set up your new bookcase and you realize that you've got this little bag of parts that's left over and you wonder what did I forget?
But maybe they give you extra parts in case you lose them.
That they do. Sometimes if there's 8 bolts that hold this thing together, they give you 10 bolts just in case you drop one or you lose one or something. That's smart planning, I think, because it's when you use 7 bolts and you can't find the 8th one.
That's a toughie. That's a real toughie. But look at, I mean, just the refrigerator.
Oh yeah, and is that all English or that?
No, it's half English, half Spanish.
But and also the printing. The printing
is so minute.
Yeah, you know, you're not sure.
But I mean, even that's okay.
Now everybody knows how to open and close the door on a refrigerator, and all, and the freezer too, and all. But it's like the water dispenser, the water and ice dispenser. You have to set that up, and you have to connect the water line into the back. And there's instructions on how to do it, and sometimes it'll throw you for a loop.
Now here's one that we got the manual with
a disc,
a CD.
You put this into your computer and you take a tutorial.
What was this for? I don't even know. Oh, a TV.
Yeah, this was for.
What did you need a tutorial for the TV for?
Well, back then, sometimes. Well,
is it that old?
Some of those TVs had DVDs in the side of them.
Oh, so you think? Oh,
I don't.
No, this is for instructions, I would think.
I always like to tell the story, and as I said, I've always been an instruction reader. It goes back to my childhood when I used to get model airplanes. I would take it out, and the first thing, of course, I would do is I used to get paint, and all the parts in model airplanes and all are all attached together on a little plastic thing. I would go through and I would paint the parts and all first on that plastic and get everything painted that I wanted to paint first. And then I would start with instruction number 1. Take this piece left, this piece right, and glue it together with. I had a good friend, and we used to go visit sometimes. My sister and her girlfriend were, their daughter were the same age. There was a little bit of an age difference between their son and myself, but to keep us occupied, sometimes they would hand us each a model airplane kit. And I would open up the model airplane kit. I would lay out all of the pieces and then I'd open up the instructions and go to instruction number 1. And by the time I got there, Robbie, my friend, would be halfway finished putting his together because, and I've told this story before, it's just a great story. He would take the left fuselage for the plane and the right fuselage and the tube of glue, and he would glue them together. Then he would take the left wing and the right wing, and he would glue that on. And then he would take the landing gear for the left side and the right side, and he would glue it on, and he'd be all finished. Then he'd be running around the room going, playing with his model airplane while I'm still on instruction number 2. And I'd look over there, and Robbie's still got about 12 pieces
left
that are left. And invariably, one of them was the pilot who's supposed to be inside the airplane, but he forgot to put the pilot in the cockpit before he put the cover on the cockpit.
But don't you wonder what they were thinking when you were still putting yours together, but his was together?
Well, yeah, but
what were your folks thinking?
No, then later they would come in and say, "Oh, look, Robbie's got his plane together already. Oh, and Stuart's still working on his." Well, Stuart,
because Robbie's buying us a few things.
Right. and we always hoped that when we got older, that Robbie would not go into the Air Force into mechanic school or something, because
Well, that would make
those pilots would have some trouble.
That's funny. That's really funny. Well, I couldn't even, when we first moved in and they had a self-cleaning oven here, which I guess we had one in our last house, but this one was different. I couldn't read the directions. So what did I do? I Googled it, wrote it on a card, and these are my instructions.
Well, because you bought a house with a self-cleaning oven. So you figure, well, I don't have to do anything. It's self-cleaning.
Well,
but you have to have instructions on how to put it in self-cleaning mode.
Except I had, in order to find the instructions on Google, I had to locate the model number.
Right, because
And did you ever try locating a model number in your oven?
Well,
you have your head stuck in there, and you're on your hands and knees on the floor. It's true. A picture. It's quite a picture, folks. To see.
We have a printer. We had a printer, and the printer was doing something that wasn't right. And I went online and I said, you can hit the help button. And the first thing it says is, what model number do you have?
Well, I don't know.
Folks, have you ever tried to find the model number on a printer? It's usually either in the back or on the bottom. And now you've got to unplug the whole thing in order to lift up this 30-pound printer and turn it over in order to find the model and serial number. And then they want to know the date that it was purchased, and before you can get the information that you really needed.
I contend, and this is very sexist of me to say, but I contend the directions and signs on these different computers and ovens and everything were all done by men. Because a woman, first of all, wouldn't put a model number on the bottom of a printer or in the back where you can't see it. And she certainly wouldn't put it in an area of the oven where you have to stick your head and be on your hands and knees. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But
go fight City Hall.
In defense of us guys, that if a woman wrote the instruction book, it would probably be 45 pages instead of 6, because she would want to make sure that every T was crossed and every I was.
But at least it would be in language you could understand. I mean,
well,
when it
the
comes,
first 45
remember
pages.
when we're talking about getting new cell phones now.
Yes.
And I really like to put this off as long as we can, because once you get that new cell phone, first of all, they don't, now that's going to the other extreme. Their books say nothing. They really say nothing. You have to go on to tutorials on Google to the company that makes the phone. Or you have to go to the phone company.
Yeah, if you go and get a new phone, you usually go and they take your old phone and they download everything from the old phone to the new phone.
Yes.
They don't show you or tell you how they're doing it or what they're doing.
No.
They just do it because it's so commonplace for them. You're sitting there and you're watching and you say, well, wait a minute, what did you do in case I have a problem?
So you write it down or you ask them the questions, but sure enough, you get home and there's a few more questions you didn't answer. So now you either have to go on Google, call the phone company for support and wait online forever, or go to the store and wait in line to talk to somebody to get your 2 or 3 questions answered. That's the extreme of not having the book.
Well, you're notorious about having a pad of paper and a pen.
Oh, yes.
Too. And you want,
I do.
When they tell you something, you want to write it down
in English.
Yes.
I want it so I can understand it.
So they say to you, okay, Mrs. Sax, step number 1, open box. Okay, just a minute.
I can do that.
Open box. Number 2,
no, I can do that.
Remove wrapping. Remove wrapping.
I'm not that bad. I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. But I'm just dreading this new phone. I mean, I suppose we could ask our grandson.
Oh, yeah.
He would probably
ask a 12-year-old, but even that, if you ask your 12-year-old grandson to help you program this thing, he says, here, just give it to me. And he goes,
and I don't know.
And it's done. Wait a minute. What did you do?
Yeah.
We had a cousin that was that way with computers and all. Whenever you say, I don't understand how to document this page over, he would go over there and he'd say, here, you just do this. Well, what did you do? I just did this, and this.
Well, I just don't understand on some of these big things why they can't I mean, this at least has big printing, big pictures.
Yes.
So, but some of these books, it's very nice. They do have pictures of the appliance or whatever you have, and then they have everything labeled. At least this is my electric broom, and everything is labeled. Very, very nice. Very nice.
That's good. But for instance, take your electric broom. When you need to clean the filter on the electric broom,
oh my God,
you have to go through that book 12 times to figure out not only how you take this apart, but then after you clean the parts,
now you gotta
put it back together. And a couple of times you've gotten all finished, put it back together, and there's a piece that's still sitting on the counter.
Well, I just don't understand why they can't. Step 1, step 2, and in English. Some of them are, but not all of them.
You go to www.pleasehelpme.com and go through the tutorial on your computer to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, I will say, thank God for YouTube, really, because there have been some times, and I really looked at that YouTube, and I stop it, and I pause it, and I go back, but it is.
Yeah.
It's really helpful.
But
we were slow learners, and we just found that out. So,
well, that's kind of why we go out to eat, because to go through the instructions of preparing a recipe.
No, remember the first restaurant we went? Oh, you weren't with me. I was in Florida with my mom, and I go with my sister, and we go to the restaurant. The restaurant's brand new, and we thought we would try it. It was a burger place. We get there, there's no menus.
Oh, it's the touch screens.
No, it wasn't the touch screens. It was the barcode.
Oh,
my sister had no clue. She thought she was in a foreign country.
The movie theaters are that way now.
Yes, the movie theaters are that way. And I at least knew a little bit of something. But and it's a great restaurant. But I got to remember, every time we go, we're not going to have
a lot of them are that way. I went out with Jeremy and Liam.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we went out on a Saturday for a burger, and we walk in, and they don't seat you. You pick your own booth where you want to sit, but you don't even go up to the counter and place an order. They don't even have the menu up there. It's a touch screen, and you start. Yeah.
Oh yeah, touchscreen.
And order number 1. Now you got to go through and pick the burger that you want. And then, do you want mustard or ketchup or whatever, or eliminate the onion? And you have to customize the whole thing. Okay. Now that's for order the first item.
Yeah. Now you got to go back to the whole.
Now you got to go back to the next one, and you order your French fries. Do you want salt on the French fries? Do you want ketchup? Do you want extra ketchup? And you have to go through all this, and then pick the drink. Pick the drink with ice, without ice. You want regular, you want diet, you want small, medium, large, and do all. Now, if there's a third person, the third, in the meantime, there's 12 people standing in line.
Oh my gosh!
To go up to the touch screen in order to do it. You even put your credit card in, you pay for everything, and then it spits out a piece of paper that says your order number 43.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you just go and you find your table.
You're finding,
and you wait for them to call 43, and then you get your thing and your cups, and you go get your drink. And
I hope they didn't ask for you for a tip on when you went to check out.
Yeah, that's part of it too. And you think
you worked for that lunch,
and you think I did all the ordering, and I had to get up and go get it when it was finished.
Yeah, right. And that's funny.
And you know me, that I'm really against a lot of that modern technology, because I like interacting with people. Because you can't ask the touch screen, what would you recommend? Would you recommend the hamburger or the cheeseburger, or how big is the double cheeseburger compared to the regular cheese? A touchscreen doesn't do that. A human being does. The human being would say, well, I might suggest the patty melt. If you don't like a big bun or something, the patty melt is on.
But that's not the way of the world.
I know. Everything is going touch screen. In fact, even the waiters and waitresses in the restaurants now, they don't use a pad and write down necessarily what you want to order. They've got a iPad or whatever, and when you order something, you want this, and you say, on my salad, you always say no tomatoes, no cucumbers. Okay, they push a button, no tomato,
Right.
no cucumber.
Right.
And
Well,
what kind of dressing do you want?
yeah.
You add the dressing
On
on the
side.
salad or on the side.
On the side.
On the side. And they're pushing buttons on it, and then they hit send, and it goes to the kitchen.
But look at the restaurants in Dallas now, not near us so much, but in Dallas, where they have robots delivering the food. You don't see anybody. You order it yourself at a kiosk. You go
Yep.
sit down, and then the robot delivers it to you, and
Yeah,
that's it.
and yet there's still a thing at the bottom of the order form that
First
says
tip.
10%, 15%, 18%, 20%,
Right.
25%. And you're thinking, who am I tipping? What's the robot going to do with
Could
10%
somebody
of my
please tip?
bill? Yes.
Look what I did.
Yes. Would you please add a 10% discount for me
Jeez.
doing all of the work?
Oh, well,
But
now we're done ranting and raving. Thank
Right.
you for allowing us this rant.
yeah, but one thing is for sure, that following this show, no instructions needed. Nope. All you got to do is click one button every Thursday at 1:00 for opposite Saxes.
It's easy.
Okay. See you here again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.